All right. Well, today we have Pat Strathman. I like to go over some of the real basic stuff, but important. So you're a husband, father.
Mm-hmm.
Your title at ESPN Wichita. I need refreshed on that.
I refreshed on it.
Okay.
Believe me, I need to refresh it. Yeah, I need a
Okay.
refresher every day too. Technically, station manager for ESPN Wichita.
Okay.
But of course, I wear more than just that hat.
Yeah.
There's the aspect of being on air from 2 to 4, the aspect of doing play-by-play, both for ESPN Wichita, but for Wichita State, helping out with the K-State Sports Network. I wear a lot of hats.
Oh, well, okay.
A lot of hats, but station manager is the main hat there at ESPN Wichita.
Okay. Yep. And then, daily the sports personality. Is that what you like to go by? Is that what the common?
Sports personality?
Yeah,
I mean,
or
most people
radio-
just call me a dummy, but that's fine too.
Sports commentator?
Yeah, sports commentator.
Okay.
I know for sports talk, there are many ways you can say it. You can say sports talk host, there's a co-host, there's a host, so whatever you want to call it. It don't matter. It's just me talking on air on the pulse every day from 2 until 4. That's the way I look at it. People see it, but all it is just this right here. It's me talking to, basically envisioning one person when I know in all reality there's probably just 2 people listening to me. But that's fine.
Yeah, you got a lot of listeners. So, all right. I always like to go back to it. Born and raised. From the start, when your first time on here, then, because then if you ever come back, then we can
then you just replay it, right?
Then we can go through all
the real
fun
stuff, right? The fun stuff. No, so I'm from Seneca, Kansas.
Kansas.
Northeast Kansas. Yeah, a town of 2,000 people. I used to think that was small, and then learning the Kansas geography, seeing some towns of 30 people, and I go, oh, here I was thinking 2,000 was small. A graduating class of 32 people, but I grew up in Seneca, Kansas, Northeast Kansas. I'm the youngest of 7 in my family. Massive, massive family.
Okay.
I'm about to be 35. My oldest sibling is 51, 52. So there's a big difference in ages, but I'm the youngest of 7, also the youngest in just from my grandma's side, Grandma Strathman side, youngest of 53. So massive, right? Mm-hmm. Just a massive family growing up in Seneca, and graduated from Nemaha Valley. Mm-hmm. Now in Nemaha Central, consolidated with Bayville B&B. So they have purple and baby blue. Back in my day, it was just purple and silver. Okay. Also, we were the Raiders. I'm glad we're not the Raiders anymore, because that was the one part I hated about our high school.
Yeah.
The Raiders, man, what are we doing,
Being so close to Kansas City.
Yeah, what are we doing? This is stupid. So ended up graduating from there in 2009. Ended up going to KU. Yes, I know. KU Jayhawker. I know you're an Oklahoma boy. But went to KU, graduated from there in 2013. And here I am now in the industry. Started in Atchison, was there for 8 months. Then in Topeka at 580 WIBW for 2.5 years. Salina up there for 5 years. And now down here in Wichita since October of 2021. Kind of crazy, but definitely love it here in Wichita. Never thought I would ever live in Wichita growing up. I remember going to a basketball camp when it was ran by Mark Turgeon. Okay. I remember getting on campus and I'm looking and I'm like, I don't know if this is for me or not. But now coming back and seeing that so much growth has happened and it's a great place to live. So glad to be here now with a wife, a kid, and another one on the way. So the roots are firmly in the ground here in Wichita.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Okay, so sports, was it always something? Did you play? I'm assuming you played sports growing up.
Whoa. I'm 6'7". You're telling me I played sports?
What was it? Golf?
Yeah, that's right. No, it was actually water polo. That's what I was playing.
Waist deep?
Yeah, that's it. That's why I was so good at it. I could just stand and just throw it, just throw the ball. It's easy that way. Yeah, I played sports growing up. That was always something I always wanted to do, but I think what some people don't know is my sister and I, my sister Janelle, we both were born with heart defects. And for me, I had to have balloon angioplasty when I was a kid. Okay. And from that point forward, you're talking about the constant checkups there in Kansas City. Of course, they have an excellent medical staff up there. And every time you go up there, you just hope that everything is okay.
Right.
Well, I got to a certain age where it's time for me, hey, I want to play basketball. I want to start playing sports. Mom and dad, they have always been supportive.
Okay.
But when I got old enough, see, we didn't grow up in a huge town. So your first crack at football was 7th grade.
Okay.
And I remember going up to mom and dad saying, hey, I want to do this. And I think they both were like, let's make sure everything is okay. And I get why. You get pads, you get a helmet on out there in the Kansas heat. I get it. It's a serious thing, right? So I remember going and getting checked up on all the time. Thankfully, didn't have any issues. I don't remember what age I was when they finally said, hey, you don't have to come back. It's, oh, thank goodness, fantastic. Okay. But that definitely could have prevented me from playing any sort of sports. But thankfully, that didn't happen. Ended up playing football in high school. I actually just wanted to play basketball in high school in Umaw Valley.
Okay.
Shocking again. 6'4", 160 pounds. I was a rail. I was skinny. Not the case anymore. But ended up arriving there as a freshman. And I remember being in the gym just wanting to play some basketball, trying to get shots up, all that stuff. And a freshman coach, Mike Wilhelm, he came up to me. He's like, ever consider football? It's like, not my thing. I want to specialize in basketball. Of course, that's the thing now. It's a buzzword, specialization. Everyone wants to be specialized in one sport. That was me in a town of 2,000 people. Probably not smart. But Mike Wilhelm was, here, just come with me in the weight room. We'll work out every single day. Just try in the first week. Just go ahead and try. Give me an opportunity. And I remember doing every rep with him. And then he was smart. Let's go play basketball. Let's work on your left hand, which I never got better at it. But let's work on your left hand and finally give it a shot. And I'm glad I did, because when it was all said and done, when I graduated, I actually had an offer from multiple colleges in the state of Kansas.
Okay.
So I had multiple offers for football. When I graduated, 6'7", 235, a lot of the junior colleges, Butler, Hutch, all of them saw the size and they thought, boy, that frame looks pretty good. Let's put another 50 pounds on him and then ship him off to some sort of school in the future, right?
Right.
So I thought about that for a moment. Also got recruited by Benedictine. That was probably the one place that really made me feel like home. But I would have to redshirt my freshman year. Didn't want to do that. Also could have played at Doane up in Nebraska. Chose not to do it. And basketball-wise, I was a late bloomer. Only had one offer on the table, Highland Community College. And I said, you know what? I don't want to put on a lot of pounds and then come to realize I can't lose them. Here we are. Fast forward to age 35, and I'm the heaviest I've ever been. But it's because of wife and kids and all that stuff, right? So it definitely changes. But I decided to go against that, because, again, I had the opportunity, or at least the thought, of going into sports, which I could have gone to K-State to be a civil engineer guy, or I could have gone to KU to be in journalism. Okay. And I ended up choosing KU, one of four in my family to go to Kansas. I think we had someone on that campus for 20 consecutive years, just something absurd, right? Okay. Yeah, pretty special for us. That's why we're very much proud of the Crimson and Blue. We very much are those type of people for sure. But ended up going to Kansas, and I'm glad I did. But I wanted to be a sports writer. Didn't think I wanted to be in radio. Okay. Didn't grow up listening to the radio. Listen to Bob Davis, voice of the Kansas Jayhawks. Rest in peace, Bob.
Yeah.
But that was it. I didn't really have much experience with radio. But one day I went to J101, which is one of the introductory courses with Professor Chuck Marsh. I actually heard from him the other day after winning an award, and it was really cool to hear from him, because I haven't heard from him in a long, long time. And I had to tell him, hey, thanks for your class, because he said one thing about radio, you'll see journalism evolve, it'll change, but radio really has gone through it all. They've found a way to fight through it all and continue to survive. The industry is still fighting, but I thought that was cool. Yeah. And then one day there was a guy standing in front of the class saying, hey, if you're a freshman looking for reps, we would love to have you. And I thought, you know what? That sounds great. Let's build. Ended up going to the meeting at the student union, and come to find out it was the news department. I did not want to do news.
Okay.
So I'm like, nope, I want sports. I walk out, and before I can hop on a bus, I actually smell pizza. I look to the right, and there were a group of guys eating pizza.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the individuals there was from my student orientation. I said, you're a college kid. You want free food.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, you know what? That sounds great. Let's walk on over, get a slice. Before I could, a guy walked up, and he goes, Michael Spiro, KJHK sports director. So I actually stumbled onto the right meeting.
Okay.
And next thing you know, get hooked.
Yeah.
And I have been in radio ever since. It's kind of crazy to think about that. But all it took was just a slice of pizza to tempt me. That's all it was. Just throw out a free slice of pizza and I'm there. Right up my alley.
So pizza has a special place for you then.
Of course. Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
So you didn't know right off the bat going to college, or you did, that you wanted to go into sports broadcast?
No,
okay.
no, did not. No,
Okay.
I did not envision that at all. I thought
Just-
sports writer was just going to be the way to go. And
Okay.
the only reason why I decided that was because in high school, I mean, my brain is weird just in general, but it was very weird back then because I loved math, but I
Mhm.
also loved to write.
Mhm.
So kind of a weird yin yang there. Hated science. And reading wise, it was okay. But writing in computer aided design, I took 2 independent study courses, and I told myself in the middle of my senior year, whichever one I liked the best, that's where I'm going.
Okay.
And that's how I ended up going sports writing. I thought the creative writing aspect was way more fun,
Mm-hmm.
and the aspect of getting the chance to do sports was great. And what hooked me in too with the KJHK bit was, hey, we broadcast right there courtside at Allen Fieldhouse. Done.
Yeah.
I'm in. That
Yeah.
sounds fantastic. Now, you don't get it right away, but that was something that hooked me as well.
Yeah. Yeah, the sports writing, I like, what I like about that is you can just have the little tape recorder if you're doing interviews.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a lot of equipment.
Yeah.
You just have,
Yeah, this is all too fancy for writers. They don't know anything about this stuff.
but yeah, you could just that, and then, or watch the game back, and then, you know, go over your notes or
Yeah,
whatever.
you can transcribe. It's easy,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
That's one thing I do like about the radio side of things, though. It's like once you do it, it's there. You can
Right.
clean up things, of course, but
Mhm.
for the most part, that's your tape. That's the interview. That's what you go with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so you already explained how you went around to other radio stations around town, or around the state.
Yeah.
Around the state.
hmm
When did you get into like calling games to being a, I get, play-by-play?
Play-by-play guy.
Yeah.
Well, that has always been my passion.
Okay.
So I like the sports talk aspect. Don't get me wrong. I really do like it. And I should say love it. I probably shouldn't say like. It is a love, because getting a chance to be on the air on a regular basis, it is very much a blessing, and not a lot of people get to do it on a regular basis. So I do love that aspect for sure. But play-by-play, as I told you with Allen Fieldhouse, that's what hooked me.
Mhm.
It was, you're telling me I can be courtside at Allen Fieldhouse.
Right.
That's one of the sickest things ever.
Yeah.
It's the mecca of college basketball.
The history there.
History.
everything, yeah.
It's right there. You're telling me I get to be courtside and I
Mhm.
can call games? That sounds amazing. Now, you don't get to do it right away. The first thing that you had to do a demo.
Okay.
And the way that you did the demo, at least for me, you sat in the stands, a KU women's basketball game's going on. You're away from the crowd, and you sit there with a tape recorder and you record. You do play-by-play this way. And then after you do that, send off to Michael, and Michael will listen, and he'll go, okay, you need to improve on this, do that, try it one more time, do it again, same thing, that type of thing. And then you finally get the opportunity to do it. And the first game I ever called was KU versus Creighton for women's basketball.
Okay.
And I'll never forget when it was my turn to do play-by-play. I think the first words I said, yeah, what's up, everyone? Couldn't help but think to myself, that was the lamest intro ever. And now it's ironic because how I open up my show in Wichita is What's Up Wichita. So it's kind of ironic in some ways.
Might as well go with it.
Yeah, I guess it worked back then. Why not do it again, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I got started. And then I you get more opportunities as you continue to put in your dues. You pay your dues. That's what you do.
Exactly.
And I just slowly worked my way up to the point where I was the sports director at KGHK, but I got help along the way. Did an internship in Hiawatha and did some freelancing with them. I did some broadcasting, did American Legion baseball. I ended up helping out with state volleyball that year when Nemaha Valley made it, which I had no clue what I was doing, but I did it because it was an opportunity. And then it ended up doing Bonner Springs basketball as an internship in my sophomore year. And then after my sophomore year is when I met Bruce Steinbrock with 580 WIBW. And I'm glad I had good timing because he said, listen, I don't really have, we could talk about an internship later, but right now I need someone because at that time, the Kansas State High School Activity Association, they went ahead and expanded. They split Class 1A. They went from one class to Division I, Division II. So they needed an extra reporter. And that's when Bruce gave me a shot. He's like, hey, look, you sound good enough. Let's get you on. I'm like, thank you. Fantastic.
Yeah.
That led to an internship. That led to doing some more freelancing. And that's how it all started. It basically was back at KJHK. And that has always been my passion. And it will forever be my passion because calling a game is something that no one else can really do. There's an art form. There are many different ways to call a game, but it's truly an art. When you listen, you go, man, that was really good, wasn't it? Man, Ian Eagle just did that, or here's Jim Nance. And then you listen to radio, wow, Kevin Harlan was great. They all have their styles, and they all tell it so beautifully that when you can take away someone's eyes and go, I'm going to paint the perfect picture for them, there's an art and a beauty to that.
Yeah.
And you feel like you're a part of the game. There are times where I think when you react to it from a sports talk standpoint, you're not really a part of it. You're just reacting to it. When you're there courtside in the action, it feels like, all right, I'm actually telling a story now. And the story I'm telling is unfolding right in front of me. I might know the main characters going into it, but then there's an unsung hero that pops up. Wow, we got to talk about that person. So that's the beauty of play-by-play. You get the chance to tell a story that unfolds right in front of your eyes. And some stories are the same, but the way I look at it is there's always something unique about every single basketball game or every single football game, whatever it might be.
Right. Yeah, that I never really thought about that, but yeah, if you were to watch the game with TV off or something like that, then it would not be the same.
No,
like the way those people or yourself are able to help bring that game to life. It's if you're not going to go and you're going to watch it on TV and you want it to
look, I get it, like
something
like the greatest upset of all time, United States hockey.
Yeah,
but what do we remember about that? Do you believe in miracles? Yes, like one of the most iconic calls you're ever going to hear, and it's those moments like that are synonymous with that moment, and that's the cool part. If you nail it and you hit it, you are forever a part of history.
Yeah,
it just makes the moment that much better.
It does, yes. The other thing I like Kansas. You called pretty much every level here, even professionally with the TBT and things like that.
I don't know how I was able to do that. Yeah, I think I've done everything but Division III.
Okay.
I think it's about the only thing I haven't done.
I just had Coach Clark
I don't
here.
think so in Kansas. And I think that's the thing.
Missouri, I think there's...
you have NAIA, you have junior college, you have Division II, you have high school, and you have Division I. I don't think there is a school
I don't think
that
there
is
is
D3
either.
in Kansas.
No.
Yeah.
But the thing is, every level here in Kansas is like so good.
Yeah.
Like you can get good games anywhere on, even a Friday night that's talking football, but I mean, just, anything. I think any level, high school, college, you're going to get good games.
Well, that's the beauty of it. Again, when you're doing play-by-play, that's the beauty of it all. It's high school where that's how I got my start. That's how, like in Atchison, that's what I did. I did high school athletics. I was a sports director. I didn't do anything with Benedictine College as much as I wanted to. I didn't. So it was all about high school. Well, I remember watching some fun high school football games, some fun high school basketball games. Jefferson County North was pretty solid at the time when it comes to basketball and football for the most part. Mar Hill Mountain Academy was always in the mix with some things up there too. And then you move a step up to whatever you want to say, NAIA junior college. I'm not here to tell you which level is better than the other one. That's not my game. But junior college wise, here you are with Hutchinson Community College with Drew Dallas winning a national championship. Seeing them and doing a game for ESPN Plus at the beginning of the year when they play New Mexico Military Institute, and just seeing them clobber them and looking at Drew's team going, damn, he's got a good team this year.
Yeah.
Congrats, and he ends up winning a national championship, which is great. And he's about to go into the Kansas Wesleyan Hall of Fame, which is cool. And then you have the NAI aspect. Of course, I'm very familiar with that, being the voice of Kansas Wesleyan for 5+ years, doing stuff for Friends University now. I can recall multiple moments with my time at Kansas Wesleyan, seeing them knock off Dickinson State by getting a touchdown with 40 seconds to play, and them stealing it, moving on to the moving on to the national semis, becoming the first KCAC team to ever do that. And then fast forward to Terry Harrison with Friends University last year, leading the eventual national champions, Grandview, 17-7 at the half at their place.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, I was actually near that game when I was helping out K-State up in Ames. We were up in Des Moines.
Okay.
And Friends is playing that day, and I'm like, man, do I have time to get over there and watch them? I really wanted to. I didn't. But they came an eyelash away from knocking off the national champions.
Yeah.
Like, just an incredible story. Then you have Phil McClintock taking a team that won, maybe 6 games the year before. They win 9 in his first year, and then they go off to rattle off, 24, 25 last year, and they end up locking up with the number 1 team in the country in College of Idaho, who ends up facing Oklahoma Wesleyan in the national championship game, also a member of the KCAC. I got stories, man.
Right.
And there's Division II with Washburn, getting an opportunity to cover them for men's basketball. I never forget going to Las Vegas and seeing them knock off the number 1 team at the time in Augustana. And a full circle moment, the head coach then for Augustana, now being the head coach for Emporia State men's basketball, and Tom Billiter. It's just amazing how there's so many of those stories. There's a beauty on every level. It doesn't matter what it is. You see some really incredible players, and some people just talk down, well, it's junior college, it's NAIA. Come out and see them, man, because when you are entrenched and you are right there and calling the games, you get to know everyone, get to know these wonderful stories. Braden Howe from Bishop Carroll ended up going to Emporia State, then went to Southwestern, ends up winning the Player of the Year in the division in the conference, and they had a tremendous season. There are so many storylines, and there's a lot of fun, a lot of great games on every level. So I do love that part, getting a chance to be able to call games at every level. I didn't even tell you about Division I, and we don't need to dive into that with seeing your Oklahoma Sooners struggle with Wichita State softball in one of the craziest softball games in the history of softball. Seeing a gal in Sam Lang, who's out there in the circle, and she gives up 2 bombs. You're thinking, what is going on?
Right.
19 runs on the board. 19-16 being the finish.
Yeah, it was a high scoring, but the second game was a little
4-hour broadcast on ESPN Plus. There are just magical moments that are waiting to happen and unfold at every game, and that's why play-by-play is so awesome for me.
Yes. I would have to say, too, when Oklahoma and Wichita State play, it is a little rough on me.
You're torn.
Just being from here in the area, Wichita State. My wife graduated from Wichita State. So we are, shockers. But I had a cousin play at Oklahoma a long time ago, and then for football. And then
you're hooked.
It's just family's been OU fans too for a while, but
I'm used to them.
Yeah. I'll definitely miss the Big 12, man. It's fun.
SEC, it just means more.
It Yeah. So we'll see how it goes this year. Hopefully it goes a little better.
We'll see if Brent Venables keeps his job at the end of the season. I hope so, but we'll see.
Relying on a quarterback transfer to help do that, and a new OC hire, and people staying healthy.
That's the key.
Yeah. So, okay. But anyway, calling games, you get to see. Yeah, you mentioned that people should come out to those games, smaller games, like even right around here. We got Newman Friends.
Yeah, and they had a great year for men's basketball too. R.J. Allen did an incredible job this past year, one of the better years that the Jets have had. And then they didn't make the MIAA tournament because of their power index that was new, because not everyone plays each other the same amount of times.
Yeah, Butler County Community College football, which has produced a lot of players to go on to, Division I.
Talked to one of them the other day, and Deshaun Hanek at Big 12 Football Media Days.
Nice. One's a head coach at Michigan now. Sharon Moore. Played at OU too.
Oh, there we go. We had to throw in that. Yeah.
I had to do it. Okay. Anyway, I guess the thing, getting into sports broadcasting we'll still do play-by-play. And the hard work going through that people didn't see, and to be able to call bigger games now, like TBT. I think that was really cool that you got to go experience that. Like after the game, what's it mean to you?
Yeah.
Like, how did that, I guess, what would the impact be like to you to realize that, I've went from, my internships and everything like that to get to
seeing legends like Keith Langford.
Exactly, right there,
Yeah, my brother insanely jealous that I called the final game ever for Keith Langford, which I'm glad that someone, I don't know, I think it was a buddy of mine in Wichita, he got a picture of me talking to Keith after and post game. And I just sent him a text. You have no idea how much that meant to me, just that one moment. And then the following year, you have Thomas Robinson show up.
Yeah.
And T-Rob and I go way back to where we actually played at the rec center. It was just one random day I show up, and there's T-Rob and the Morris twins and Elijah Johnson. They're all playing basketball out there. And I walk up, and this guy, Ty, who I knew at the time, they're just playing ball. Look at Ty. It's like, hey, you guys, you trying to play? And I thought we were going to play on the other court. He goes, yeah, no, we got next. We're on T-Rob's team. Okay, we're on T-Rob's team. You got it. So then there's T-Rob and I. We actually beat the Morris twins. I think at a game of 15 maybe. It's got to be 15. Pretty sure in a game of 15, I think I knocked down like 3 threes, and T-Rob had himself a game. And it's like, all right, young fella. And then as soon as you walk around on campus, and every time I locked eyes with him, T-Rob, a little head nod, and then to see him later on in calling games, and he's at the free throw line against Mizzou, having memories of what we saw in 2008 when he had the most famous block in maybe college basketball history. Mizzou fans would say it was a foul. They can cry all they want, but T-Rob was able to get the block then, and to just see that full circle moment. I think that's the cool thing too, and I'll knock on wood and pray that I can continue in this industry, because those full circle moments happen so much. Deshaun Hanek the other day played in Topeka. I was at 580 WIBW at the time, and he was at Washburn Rural his freshman year. Goes to Hayden his sophomore year. He pairs up with Zach Harvey, Jet Canfield, Levi Braun. They all pair up at the time, coached by Ted Schuler, who's a friend of mine. And Deshaun then goes to Butler Community College later on to play football. Then he goes to Iowa State. Then he goes to Kansas, suffers an injury, can't play at all last year, which is just a huge bummer. To see him earlier this week, and I told Deshaun, I was like, listen, you do not remember me. I know you don't. but I remember you when you were a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as we sat down and talked, we talked for 15 minutes. We could have gone on for another 30.
Nice.
It's like, man, I got a wife, I got a kid on the way. And I'm just thinking, gosh, how old am I that this is the case right now? But that's the cool part about sports.
Mm-hmm.
It's those full circle moments where you see people. And yeah, and here I am doing pregame interviews with Frank Mason.
Yeah.
Did I ever think that was going to be a reality in my life? No, not the case. Going to Super Bowl Radio Row. Did I ever envision that? No, I didn't envision that, So, but the prep, as you brought up, that's the stuff that's behind the scenes that no one sees, but you and your significant other, if you have one, because most people think you just show up, sit down, and talk, and that is far from the case. And this is where you got to have a very strong, stable, relationship at home. And thankfully I do with my wonderful wife, who we just celebrated our 3-year anniversary the other day. I'm over 3 on wedding anniversaries, by the way. So don't follow my advice. I've been gone for all 3 of my wedding anniversaries with her. So I am over 3. We're not doing good. I made it back, but it was late and I was tired. She was tired. So it was, we didn't do anything special. But the one thing that she sees on a regular basis, it's all right. We get to 7:00. Here's Grace. We put her to bed, and it gets to be about 7:30. If there's a game going on, Kara knows that I'm gonna sit in my old man recliner. I'm gonna sit there and I'm going to prep. Okay. I'm gonna prep until I can't prep anymore, and then I'll end up going to bed, or I'll start working on the next game, or the next week, or the next assignment. It's never ending. It's a never ending cycle of prep, which is why it's so important to fall in love with the process of prepping. So many people think this is fun. It is. It's a lot of fun. It's really rewarding. It's incredible. But you have to understand that you got to fall in love with the process of prepping. And then when you prep out of the stuff that you have, you probably only use 20% of it, maybe 25. There's not a lot of prep. You don't use it all, but in that one moment when something happens, you're ready for that moment. You're ready to bring up a stat that you've been waiting to use the entire broadcast, right? Yeah. And then you feel so rewarded after the fact, like, I got that in there. Yeah. Here we go, right? I spent hours trying to find this one particular stat, and I found it, and I was ready for it, and I executed. It was great. But it is the process of prep that no one sees. No one sees that type of work. My football charts are, yay big. My basketball charts are the same thing. And for baseball and softball, man, is there a lot of stuff. You got to go through game notes. I have some digital, and then you have to have your actual lineup card. There are so many things that happen. And then you get done with the game, and guess what you do? You do it again and again and again. So it's a never-ending cycle of just preparing, never ending. And it's a lot. It's a ton. It takes a toll on the body for sure. The older I get, I'm like, man, I can't stay up until midnight doing prep anymore, which is why it's important now. You got to get smart. All right, what can I do to try to give myself an advantage to where I can get a little bit of sleep, just a little bit.
Right.
So yeah, the process of prep, it's a hard one for a lot of people to master. And there are a million ways to do it. There are a million ways to get a board together, but you got to have it in order to execute. So
just one of them things you figure out along the way. Yeah,
and the beautiful thing is, it's the more that you do and the higher up you go. So it's easy to do TBT prep for the most part because you know the guys.
Right.
You know they have Wikipedias. You know of their history. You know what they did. Now you got to be very selective on what prep, like what you want to include on your board. But then there's at the smaller level, you have high school. It's really hard to prep for high school, which is why you really need to be in the know with the coaches. You got to know what to report, what not to report. You have to be very careful on that.
Okay.
But then KCAC is the same way. You have stats, but what's the story for these individuals? You get to Division II level, you get some game notes. Get to Division I, you have game notes aplenty. So it gets a little easier as you continue to move up the ladder, but you still got to prep. And then you got to do your own research too. you're not going to find everything in game notes. You got to go, wonder what they have done in the last 5 games. And I look and go, all right, well, this person's won for her last 29 from Beyond the Arc. Or jot that down. It's a bad note. I don't like that.
Right.
But it's stuff like that you got to pick up on to truly, again, we're talking about painting the picture. That's part of the process.
Right.
It's, man, she's really been struggling. I can say that, but here's the proof. 1 for 29 in the last, couple of games.
Yeah.
Don't want to use that stat, but sometimes you got to do it,
Right. Because you can help paint the picture for somebody listening that
right.
they haven't been on a hot streak, and maybe they're not going to help close out the game if you're being hopeful for it.
Or here's the thing, they're 1 for their last 29, and then they go 4 for 4 from deep. And they lead their team to a win. And that's when you go, did not see that coming.
Caught wind.
Yeah. There's one game, I think, on the road. This person was 1 for 10 and ended up going like 3 for 4. Well, it's that type of game. All right, here we go.
Sports stats are so fun though. Like, I do love hearing them when announcers, have stats and all the crazy ones.
And they have help too, by the way. Right. Those guys have all the help in the world. They have people in trucks researching everything. I wish I had that type of help, but now the good ones, they do their own prep. They do their own research. They know what they're looking for. Again, you go into a game, you have an idea of what the story is going to be. Right. You already kind of know. But in that moment where something happens, you got to be ready for it.
Yeah. I would hope an ESPN broadcast would have like somebody in the truck though.
A few.
A few shooting up some random stats to the screen for.
I've actually been in that role one time. It was I think it was Wichita State and Oklahoma State at Interest Bank Arena, and I was helping out with Chucky Kemp and, gosh, I'm drawing a blank on his name. I'm sure I'll remember it here in a little bit, but you're sitting there, and I remember Chucky's like, just let me know what you want to look at. Well, me being a play-by-play guy, I know what he's looking for, so jot down some notes. You'll look at him and go, it's a good note. Jot down some more notes. Dang, that's a great note.
Yeah.
So there are guys in their ears.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I would hope so. Yeah. I would figure so with being that big of a production.
Of course, you got to have a lot of people for that.
Okay. You kind of mentioned it, traveling a lot here lately. Thanks for your time, by the way, coming over.
Man.
And
I feel like we've been planning this for months now, so I'm glad that I was finally able to go. Now is the day. Hope you're ready.
Right after you've been super busy. Okay, so you recently won an award, which oh shoot! I'm drawing a blank on Sportscaster of the year.
It's not major.
Okay,
it's National Sports Media Association Kansas Sportscaster of the Year for 2024.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's reckoning, like it's still you getting recognized for your hard work.
Yeah.
And is this something the peers help vote on?
And that's why it's so special.
Okay.
It's that. It's not me submitting tape. It's tape. How am I? It's not me submitting a clip. It's not me calling people saying, "Hey, vote for me." It's not me doing a campaign. It's peer based. And if you look in the state of Kansas for sportscasters, there have been a lot of great ones. There are great ones right now. You have people want to call Iron Mike Tyson. It's not Mike Kennedy. Mike Kennedy is the real Iron Mike for doing all the things that he's done for Wichita State. If I can just have a tenth of his longevity in this industry, I will be very, very happy because he's done so many things. He's at Wichita State. You have Wyatt Thompson, the voice of the K-State Wildcats, who's won it. I think his streak was stopped after Brian Haney won it last year. It was back-to-back, I think, Wyatt. And then it was Brian Haney last year, voice of the Kansas Jayhawks.
Okay.
And I'm just so fortunate to have all three of those guys in my life who have really helped me. And that's what this industry is too. It's all about setting up the next guy, the next guy, the next guy. And I thought it was just cool just in, I think it was 2023. It would have been 2024 when it was announced, but I was just a nominee. And I thought that in itself was cool. Right. I thought, all right, I'm a nominee. thanks guys. That's cool. Thanks for doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Brian wins it. Couldn't be happier for a dear friend like Brian Haney, who has always wanted to be the voice of the Kansas Jayhawks, being a Topeka West guy. And now he's living out his dream, and it's so freaking cool to see it. But then you get to last year, once again, I'm a nominee, and I go, guys, thanks. I appreciate that. Really special. And then I'm getting ready for Wichita State women's basketball. We're in Birmingham, Alabama, getting ready for UAB, and I'm on the bus. We just pull up to the hotel, and I get a message from Dave Gorin, who is the director for the National Sports Media Association. And I pick up, and he goes, hey, Pat, how you doing? So I'm actually just got to the hotel. So is everything okay? Do you need anything from me? He goes, well, I just want to let you know that you've been selected by your peers as the Kansas Sportscaster of the Year.
Nice.
And just such a fun moment. I'm on a bus. You have the players around me, and they have no idea what's going on. I'm sitting here just like, is this really happening?
Mm-hmm.
It's so surreal. And it's because it's all peer based. It's not me. It's not me going out there. I'm glad. I'm very grateful, very blessed for it. I'm glad they gave me an opportunity. I'm glad that, here's the reality. They called probably 15 people. They all said no. And then I was the one who ended up getting it. So maybe it was charity. I don't know.
No.
But it was such a surreal moment. And just knowing who's won that award too, you look at the history. Again, you look at Mike, you look at Wyatt, you look at Brian. Those are individuals who I know and love. And there are other people I know who've won that award too in the state of Kansas. And what's really cool is you get a chance to go out to North Carolina and meet Mike Tirico, and you meet Ian Eagle, and you meet other award winners. You meet John Chalesnik, and it was just such a cool experience to be able to do that last week. So it was a very, very special moment for me. But as I've said on social media, it's not me. I know my name is on the plaque. I get that, but it's so much more than that.
Exactly.
It's my wife who has always encouraged me to go and chase this dream. She has always been supportive. I'll never forget when it was the pandemic, and this is how I got my start for K-State producing. They asked me, hey, I don't know if Kansas Wesleyan has a game, but we need a fill-in producer. And I'm like, sure. Where's it going to be? All right, well, it's going to be K-State at home. I think it was Tech.
Okay.
And they're like, well, how about the week before? You want to come down and shadow and see what's going on? They were playing Oklahoma and Norman.
Yeah.
All right. And they ended up beating Oklahoma that day. Spencer Rattler, I think, completed his first 17 passes. I think number 18 was an interception, but we're not going to talk about that. We don't need to bring up those memories. But it was a very special moment. It was really cool. Mm-hmm. And up in the booth, I joked, well, you just need a KU guy for you to knock off Oklahoma. But, we're not going to go down that path. But I remember it was the night before, because I had a high school football game. At the time, my wife and I were just dating. And I remember just saying, hey, I'm looking at doing this. I know it's going to cut into our time, but what do you think? What should I do? And without hesitation, she just said, you're going. Okay. I don't care what you're doing. You're going. So here I am waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, get ready to drive to Norman. Because although the game is kicking off at 11, you have the network kicking off coverage at 9. You need to get there at 7 to get things ready as a producer. It's a long day. But I remember hopping in the vehicle, and there's a note, and I still have it in my wallet, and just from my now wife, just saying how proud she was.
Nice.
And just everything like that. It's like Wichita State women's basketball. Hey, I know I'm going to be away from you. I'm going to be away from Grace. It's hard. It's really, really hard, but I'm not going to do it if you don't feel comfortable. Mm-hmm. And once again, she is the one who just says, you are doing it. It's not me really going for her and pleading for her. She's already made up the mind. Like, she's already made up my mind. You're doing it. And to have that type of support in my life, blessed beyond measure. Without her, I wouldn't be able to do any of it. And she's the one who encouraged to drive 36 hours to North Carolina and back. So I love her very dearly, and she's been the rock of her family. But I know it's not just her; it's my mom and dad who have never really discouraged me in this industry. There are times where you're not making a lot of money. My first job I had was not making a lot of money. It was not all that impressive. I'm making a little bit more now, thankfully, just a little bit more. But mom and dad just always encouraging me to continue to do what I love, and that's this. And then you have an incredible team, and you have mentors along the way like Wyatt and Brian, and there's so many more. Bruce Steinbrock with 580 IBW, and then you have bosses who take a chance on you. Justin Fluke in Hiawatha, and Jake LeBon and Larry Riggins in Topeka, and then Salina, Bob Protzman and Clark Sanders taking a shot on me there, and here now Chad Boger and Anna Vizcara. And you look at Wichita State, if it wasn't for Mark Rogers of Shocker Sports Properties, Kevin Saul allowed me the opportunity to do it. The list goes on and on and on. You got to have those people in your life who truly see you, and they want the best for you. And then I couldn't do what I do at ESPN Wichita without an incredible team. And the team I have it's small, but we're really, really mighty. Shane's been a trooper, and I know Chance has been doing a lot of things, and you got the account executives who've been hard at work. There's people in Kansas City working hard. So there's the list can go on and on and on. And there's the friends, and there's the family. And
exactly.
Maybe the reason why I'm 6'7" is because I'm standing on the shoulders of so many people.
Yeah.
I can't do what I do without them. And to have that award and look at it and see my name, it's obviously really humbling and so surreal. But when you look at that award, it doesn't say you. I mean, it says you, but it doesn't just reflect all the work and effort that you have put in, but the support and the amount of effort of others along the way. So I'm just incredibly grateful for it all. A guy who just was from a town of 2,000 people and just have slowly but surely just kind of climbed the ladder. And in order for that to happen, you have to have timing. You have to have great people in your life. And I've been so grateful to have so many amazing people in my life.
Right.
Oh, I didn't include the listeners too. The listeners are kind of big too.
There you go.
The listeners also are great as well. Those listeners are so passionate. They're very passionate here. I've learned that. They're very, very passionate. First time I said I was a KU boy, I think half the town said, "Screw this guy. I'm not going to listen to him." I don't blame you. I don't want to listen to him either.
Right. Well, you're still here, so that's good. But
yeah, for another week maybe.
No, so I was getting a sense of that, like, and obviously behind every story, there's people behind it. So that's why I like doing this. I like to learn what else is going on. You're not just a solo commentator, sports commentator, or a solo. A lot of times you don't get a color analyst with you when you're calling games, but you're still a team. And I can relate to that from when, little short thing, I did BMX is what I did. I never played I did play recreational league stuff growing up. But when I did really good at a contest away from home, on TV somewhere, and it's like, this isn't just me. I have so many friends. My parents traveling around when I was a kid, taking me everywhere, and for me to get to where I'm at, and friends pushing me, and so along the same lines. But yeah, that's awesome, and for your peers to nominate you, knowing that, the little, I guess, what maybe good feedback they've given you, or things they've told you along the way to help you get to where you are.
There's so many too, because there's so many layers to it. There is, I remember because we all have our flavor, right? We all do something a little bit differently. I'm not Brian, I'm not Mike, I'm not Wyatt. We're all very different. We all have different voices. We all have different styles. Everything's a little bit different. but I can accredit a lot of the things that I've done. Just my voice. This guy passed away for 580 WWW. He was in news. His name was Bob Fiddler. They call him Bobby Fids when he hopped on. Die-hard hockey fan, loved St. Louis Blues. He was a huge hockey guy. But Bobby Fids, I remember doing an internship with him, and he goes, all right, here's what you're going to do. And I read a script, and he goes, all right, well, you can read. It's great, but let's do it again and change this. So I changed it. And I'll never forget when I came back from the internship. At the time, I think it was Alex Gold, who now works for 610 Sports Radio, living out his dream. And I think it was Gold who looked at me. It's just like, who are you? Because you are not the same guy. And it's like, well, it's because Bobby Fids got me to work on my voice. And then there's Bruce Steinbrock, who got me to work on my technique. And then there are just other individuals who just make tiny tweaks along the way, who just mean the world to me in order to be where I am now. Because I obviously didn't sound like this when I first got into it. Start off by just saying, "Hey, what's up, guys?" Very high pitched voice. It's a little bit deeper now, but that's mainly because you work on it. It's what you do. You got to do that. But I also don't feel like I'm faking my voice too. I don't feel like I go from off air and on air. Some people can do that. I don't think I can do that type of thing. So, but yeah, I mean, there's just so many things along the way, and there are just so many wonderful broadcasters in the state that I've been able to talk to. But yeah, I think it was Brian. Brian's like, you need to take a step back and look at what you've done in a span of a year.
Yeah.
And I go, what do you mean? So like, just take a step back and look. And you go, all right, let's look. What have I done? All right, I've been in New Orleans for Super Bowl Radio Row. I have been on the road with Wichita State women's basketball. I've done ESPN Plus for Wichita State softball, and I help fill in as much as I can. I've been able to host the Wheaties. I've been able to do the NCAA tournament by having a fan zone area. I've been able to do a show on a regular basis, been able to help out with Friends University with football and basketball. And like when you do take a step back, and it's hard to see it in the moment, it's really hard. But when I actually had a chance to sit back and look at it, I go, okay. And also a good reminder with baby number 2 coming up, I should probably slow down.
Yeah.
And really smell the roses a little bit more. But I've always been one of those guys of you say yes to a lot of things. And and when you say yes to things, doors open. And when doors open up, then you got to be ready for your opportunity. And I'm just, again, very, very grateful to have the support. And I'm glad that those individuals have been able to help me along the way, because I wouldn't be here without them. That's for sure.
So you got a little bit.
You're good.
Okay. I can cut that out. But anyway, so, maybe you have an aspiring sports journalist or, somebody. Watching.
And they know what not to do now. That's good.
No. Do you ever, doing all this, does it ever affect like just being a fan? Your original
100%.
Right.
I can't be a fan anymore.
You can't.
It's so hard. The number one, I'll share a recent experience. Here we are, KU football, Lance Leipold. We're back, baby. Well, has KU ever really been there? The answer is probably no. But you have college game day coming to town. It's Kansas and TCU. Buddy of mine has tickets. I go, hey, I can make it to a game. Let me come out to a game. So I caught the game, TCU. We all know the ending. KU loses. But during the game, I remember you have the crowd yelling, boo, refs, you're terrible, whatever. There's one particular play where the ref calls a hold. And a guy to my left, and I have my buddies to my right, guy to this left, whatever. And everyone's like, that's not a hold, that's bull crap, whatever. And I'm like, that's it. And the guy finally had to look at me and he goes, for once in this game. Can you just be a goddamn fan?
Oh, crap.
And I'm like, I can't. I can't be a fan anymore. You can. Don't get me wrong. I'm still sporting my gear. I'm very much supporting the teams I love. But the way that you watch games now, I watch it in the sense of analyzing, not from a vantage point of rooting, but more so just watching. You have the Chiefs and the Eagles for Super Bowl. After being in New Orleans, I get back, get a chance to watch a game. I always downstairs in my basement, my big ass 80-inch TV. It's very much a leave me alone. I'm gonna watch a game.
Mm-hmm.
Eagles are kicking the crap out of them. They're dominating at half. And I remember Kara getting a message, hey, how's Pat handling this? He's on his computer. Oh, what is he doing on his computer? He's sending emails. Like he's just working.
Yeah.
And Kara's just, I think he's fine. And Kara's like, you okay? I'm like, yeah. She's like, you're not pissed? I'm like, no, not really. Because the Eagles are a good team and you can't win them all. I don't know. So my fandom has shifted so much. Now, I don't know if that applies for everyone. I'm still very much a KU boy, still very much love the Jesus, still very much love the Royals. But my God, it takes a little bit out of you because you are trying to watch it from an objective point of view. And not everyone wants that, right? Everyone wants you to be a fan because this is how we feel, so you need to feel that way. But this is where my role, you got to come from it from a different point of view. You have to. I'm gonna tell you how I see it. Mm-hmm. And if that doesn't support your viewpoint, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to analyze it the way I think I got to analyze it. So yeah, I'm trying to remember the last time I've really been a fan, because I don't know if I ever have been a big fan of things recently. I don't get too up. I don't get too high. I don't get too low. It's, well, KU ended up losing the Arkansas NCAA tournament. I'm not going to lose sleep over that. Mm-hmm. I know that's hard for a lot of people to comprehend that because there's so many fans. And I'm not trying to tell you to stop being a fan, because you need to be a fan. Go be a fan.
Right.
Be that person for me, because I don't know. I just don't feel like I can be that type of guy anymore, which sucks. But that's the thing I've always just kind of told people. I tell people that all the time. And that TCU story cracks me up every time I tell it, because it's so true. Just be a fan.
Yeah.
Pat's sending emails at halftime. It's like, yeah. I go, if the Chiefs score here for the opening drive in the second half, if they do it, then all right, I'll watch it. Mm-hmm. But they didn't. And I'm working. Mm-hmm. And Kara's just, well, apparently Pat's fine. Yeah, I am. I'm not reacting to it the way that most people would, by punching TVs and calling for the head of Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes washed.
Yeah.
Gosh, look at Oklahoma softball. You lose in the tournament, and oh no, man, we're terrible. Like you just didn't get done winning 4 consecutive national championships. Like it's so ridiculous, but that's how spoiled we are when you're fans. You get spoiled that way, but the more that you watch it from my point of view, you really start to lose that fandom just ever so slightly.
Right. Yeah, it is. It's funny. Like, take Oklahoma, for example, getting knocked out in softball. You would have thought the place was going to melt down, it's like, seriously, come on, let's be real here. What, you expect them to just win from here on out until
they're still a good program,
right? They're
still a great team,
and
I get it though, and probably now than never before. You have NIL, you have contracts, you have money now attached, truly money attached, and that just makes everyone just go crazier that's the case.
Yes,
yeah.
That's another thing I wanted to get your perspective on NIL. You hear about it all the time.
What is NIL?
Yeah.
What is the house settlement?
Yeah, I'm of the opinion that players should get paid. I think
I concur.
I think we're just in a lot of people said I'm done with college sports. I'm like, we're in a Wild West period right now. Things I believe that it'll come back around.
I hope
that
it's the pendulum, right?
Right.
You're so far over here, you come back, it doesn't stop in the middle. It goes all the way back to the left.
Right. Yep. With them getting a little bit of reining it in a little bit with the new house settlement. If it even did it go through yet?
It did. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's active. Up. Everyone's trying to keep up with it. Don't get me wrong, because we down there in Frisco, that's the one. Okay. I think the buzz topic of the week was about house settlement and seeing the quotes. You have Texas Tech, who has a roster that's supposedly $40 million. How have they been able to do that? Is that even legal? Well, how have they done it? Well, they front-loaded contracts and got them all in before the house settlement. This first year is really going to be really strange. And then I'm curious to see how it balances out after the fact. But listen, players need to be paid. They need to be. It's been a long time that the NCAA has benefited. So many people have benefited from players. So many people have. I think it's perfectly fair for these players to get what they deserve, which is money. They need that. The way that they do it might not be traditional. Do they need to limit the amount of times you enter the transfer portal? Sure, because I think you have guys who are taking advantage of, I can go to 5 different schools, get 5 different contracts, and I can cash all 5 of them just fine. And if I don't make it for professional basketball overseas, then I'm totally okay with it. So I do believe that players deserve it. They really need to be, because they do put in a lot of time and effort. I know they have school. You're right. It's not incorrect. You still have the school aspect with this. But now that the house settlement has been passed, now we're just wondering, are we truly trusting them to truly, like, we've already seen how many deals, 80 deals, I think, have been denied. And now the next step is to rework them, resubmit. And if it ends up being denied again, then they have to go to an appeals process where the student's got to make their case to get it approved. So the challenge is, do you really believe in those handling NIL in the way it's supposed to be? Are they really going to have a close eye on every deal? It almost feels like it's impossible that that's the case, because there's going to be so many deals that come through. It's going to be insane. Yeah. But this is supposed to help. Like, it's supposed to come back to where we're getting back to how NIL was supposed to be. Right. But look, the Pandora's box has already been opened. And the NCAA said, whoa, look at this. They're being sued over here. You know what? Let's just make it legal. You guys deal with it amongst yourselves and we'll figure it out.
I believe it all started off with California with the state legislation.
100%.
Right?
Yeah, that's what people think. Well, how did this all start? Well, don't blame them. Blame the NCAA for going, we don't want to deal with it. You guys deal with it. And then you have compliance offices all over the country trying to play catch up. Just put a lot of strain on a lot of people. But you hope that it can level the playing field. I do think it can be beneficial for some teams, some programs, some schools, but I still think it's way too early to figure out what's going to happen. But players benefiting off of their name, image, and likeness, all for it, because, again, there have been so many years to where people took advantage of that. I think it's only fair that now we have a little bit more balance, and with coaches who can make millions of dollars, why can't players make $1 million?
Exactly. They're why we watch the game.
Exactly.
I mean, the coaches, they find the players, recruit them, develop them. I don't know about develop anymore, but
I don't know if that's a thing anymore. Yeah.
But coaches, I love coaches. Like the story of what they have to go through to building a team, and everything. I don't know if it's so much that for them anymore, but
that's why you see so many people getting out now. Yeah, I wouldn't want to deal with it. Coach Kleiman saying, we used to have a break period as of right now. Now we're working on contracts.
Yeah, Jay from Villanova.
Yeah, Jay Wright.
Yep, just said, nope, done with it.
Yeah, how much longer Bill Self has for KU.
Yeah, it's probably Nick Saban too, while he
Nick Saban's smart. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Okay. So as another part of your job, a cool thing to go down to like a media day, Big 12 media days. What's that? So what's that experience like for you?
How would you describe it?
Fast paced, or
It is, but see, like now everything is so whatever, because the first time I ever experienced Super Bowl Radio Row, that's the fast paced stuff.
Okay.
It's the first year going to LA, and that year no Chiefs. It was the Bengals and Rams. Still COVID, so you had to keep a close eye on that. And I was there, and I think I remember talking to like Garrett Blunt, former New England Patriot, former Buccaneer, if I recall correctly. Cool dude. And there were a few other guys there, but it was very, very pretty quiet. But it was a massive room, just huge room. And I just thought it was cool seeing the world. But what I learned was you have people handling these people. They have clients. They paid good money for them to rep their product, and you have to be on your toes. You have to go talk to the handlers and basically box everyone out and go, no, I got that guy.
Yeah.
And then I got a real taste for it the next year when we were in Phoenix and the Chiefs were playing the Eagles.
I listened to a lot of your coverage for that one.
Yeah. I think Eagles, right? It wasn't the Niners, it was the Eagles.
I can tell you enjoyed that one. I remember
that was a fun one. Well, because that one was another example of just how fast-paced it was. It got bigger. There were more media members there, still not quite the amount that you would envision. And then I remember just out of the blue, someone walked up and said, hey, Emmitt Smith is potentially available, and just be ready. And this gal comes up. I'm getting ready to do another interview, and someone comes up, taps me on the shoulder, and goes, all right, we got to go find Emmitt. I go, what? Emmitt Smith? Okay. And we go back there, and I was like, what's going on? They're like, well, Emmitt wants to do it back here. He just got done with the scrum. He wants to be back here. So if you can sit down, do it, whatever. And here he is. He sits down, bottle of tequila's right there. And I whiffed on an opportunity to take a shot of tequila with Emmitt Smith. I should have done it, but I also respected my job too much with my boss right there. I didn't want to get fired on the spot. So like, I don't think I want to do this. But talking with Emmitt Smith, same year, Marshall Faulk, and I think Steve Argent might have been there too with the Seahawks. So yeah, that one was insane. And getting a few individuals on the phone, I think Vince Papali, I think I had a chance to talk to. So that was a crazy time. And then you get Las Vegas. Holy crap. I thought I knew what fast pace was, and then you get to Vegas, the most amount of credentials approved in Super Bowl history.
Wow.
And boy, did it reflect it. I was looking left and right going, I don't know how I'm going to do this. But you fight through it. You work the angle. You talk with agents. You talk with people. You just got to build that base. But the one thing Super Bowl Radio Row has taught me is you just go with the flow. Just play the hits, play the tunes. If you can work in a little bit of stuff about their career, do it. All right, just a little bit. And then this past year in New Orleans, bringing Chance there. Chance is just like, so I have to tell him, I'm telling you right now, man. Everyone on the surface sees, wow, you're talking to Dante Hall. Oh, hey, you're talking with Chris Fowler. You're talking with Steve Levy. Like, wow, that's really great. Kurt Schilling. You're talking to these guys. It's like, yeah, you have to sprint and again box out people.
Yeah,
and you have to go, hey, I want this guy on for 10 minutes. That's what you got to do. You got to fight for every person you get. And I've just been so fortunate that just building the base, getting emails leading up to it instead of the first part, which is when you don't have any idea what the hell you're doing. Now it's I know what I'm doing now. I know what to do. So Big 12 is just small potatoes after experiencing Radio Row. It is fast though. You just never know what's going to happen. You think you have things penciled in, but then someone could not show up or someone takes too long. That happens way more often than it should. I respect my time with people. You tell me 12 minutes, I'm getting 12 minutes on the nose. But I'm not going to go long. But most people do, and I know why. It's because, well, I got Emmitt Smith. I'm the guy that talked to him for 30 minutes. I get it. I understand. But respect other people's times, man. Just the way it is. So yeah, I think when you experience Super Bowl Radio Row, it's so fast paced that everything slows down. And everything has slowed down. The older you get, I think you're just so wise, and you get a chance to understand some things. So I've been very fortunate to the Super Bowl Radio Row stuff. It's been insanely, and it's just been insane to be a part of it. But
yeah,
it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. Definitely a lot of people who I've talked to who I never would have envisioned talking to, former NFL MVPs and Hall of Famers, and sometimes just actors and actresses. And musicians. I mean, one I didn't play it, but Tech Nine I had one year, and I remember talking to Tech Nine about some of his albums. He's like, "Man, you know my stuff." I'm like, yeah, "I know you, man. I listen to your stuff. I know your albums." And I think he really admired that. He's like, "Man, you could get deep then." I was like, "Yeah, I could get deep with your stuff." So it's incredible. So this past week was fun. It was great, but I remember first year you get starstruck a little bit, but then, okay, everyone's just everyone. Emmitt Smith's just Emmitt. Marshall Faulk's just a guy. Who cares how many yards they ran for? They're just normal dudes. They're just normal dudes.
Yeah. And it's, okay, so the questioning from a professional player or that's no longer in the game, done it forever, asking them a question versus a college player.
Yeah, you got to adjust it.
Yeah, because the college player, when you're looking for more of an answer, and it's they're young men, they're learning
Steer
everything.
Clear of yes and no's.
Yeah,
Steer clear.
But they do give you soundbite answers, like the little quick ones. I don't know. You probably run into some that are, willing to tell a little more.
Well, I mean, like Avery Johnson and Jalen Daniels are really great talkers. They will dive deep. And then you talk to someone who's more soft-spoken. Well, they'll love the guy to death. I love Cody's stuff with Bean. He's a good dude from McPherson, but kind of short-winded, doesn't want to dive a little bit deeper, and that's fine.
Right.
You just got to adjust to whatever the situation is. So, yeah, professionals, you can be a little bit more critical. College-wise, I try not to be as critical. I just maybe hint at some stuff. And what's beautiful is if they understand what I'm hinting at, they'll take it and run with it, which is the only thing I can ask them to do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you've had, like you said, quite the past year, quite the past couple weeks with traveling and everything. Hey, I appreciate your time. Hopefully,
appreciate you, Lee. Yeah,
learned a lot. Hopefully, maybe somebody aspiring to.
Yeah, don't do what this guy does. That's what it is. Don't do what this guy does. I was expecting you to go, "What's next?" I was going to tell you, "Sleep."
Yeah. Okay.
That's what's next.
Probably a little far, and trying to get that in when you can. Yeah.
Yeah. Very little I get, that's for sure. But, no, I appreciate it, man. It's always a lot of fun, and to be able to do these types of things. And I know for you, I know you're a very busy dude as well. So I'm glad we're able to make this work. And that's kind of the beauty of when you go into a new market, you never know who you're going to meet or who you're going to talk to. But we sure do appreciate everyone that you meet and everyone that listens. So I am very, very grateful when it comes to that, man. So thank you.
I'll get back to heckling you about OU football here.
I'll be ready for it. Hit me up.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much again.
Absolutely.
For your time.
Anytime.
Yeah, appreciate it.